What is happening, everyone? How are you today? We're making our way through the week, halfway there. Well, today I've got a guest, unlike yesterday, where Ryan Kinnell totally left. He said he'll never come on my show. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. Ryan, you screwed up, man. Now you're never coming on my show. Like you just got put on the list. There was only one person. It was Az, heels versus babyface, but he put himself on that list for reasons that shall be remain unsaid. Today I've got the one and only, the epic Mike. Mike, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
What's going on, buddy? Glad to be here. Listen, now I didn't know Ryan was supposed to be on.
Yesterday, yeah.
Now that I know that, I'm going to rub it in his face as much as I can.
Oh, please do. As many chances that you have. I told him I'm going to hold it over his head forever, and he's like, "Yeah, all right."
That's what he gets.
Like,
listen,
bro, you know what's even crazier? We booked it a month ago. He's like, "I'm really busy," and I was, I would love to have you on the show. When are you available? The 24th. All right, cool. Like, I'll mark you down for the 24th. Or 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's like it's been in the books. It's not like it was last minute. We talked about it last month in April. It's like, I got a lot of things going on. Let's here, I'm free this day. And then of course, the Geeks and Gamers guys are getting together and doing their thing. That's all right, Ryan. Priorities. I understand.
Yeah,
but
listen, man.
You kind of committed.
You make commitments and stuff. Listen, he'll get on me and he'll make jokes about like, oh, black guys are always late and all that stuff. I'm here.
That's how he says.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude. We go at each other a lot. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see what Obama just tweeted out today?
I did not.
Oh, dude.
God. Did he go off about this whole gun thing?
No, yes, but not even. It's honestly, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that he used this. Hold on, let me just pull this up. No, normally I don't do this, but it just kind of it popped in my head, and I because usually I just I want to focus on you, but look at this shit. As we grieve for the children of Uvalde today, we should take the time to recognize that 2 years have passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. His killing stays with us all to this day, especially those who loved him.
What?
What? What?
That's a bad take. That's a real bad take, Barack. Wow. Damn.
What? I mean, I'm shocked still.
Yeah.
I read that and I was like, did he just use this as an opportunity to like spread this shit again more? Yeah. Like, man, the country was you know what? There's a really good, here it is. This is a graph. This is from Gummy Bear, actually responded to him. Look at this. Would you say the relations between whites and blacks were very good, somewhat bad, very bad? I mean, this is me in I just graduated high school here. This feels about right. I think it was just getting better and better. And then there was this span and something happened oh yeah, he was president.
Yeah.
He was president. That's right. And then after 2012, the Smith-Mundt Act came out. They snuck it into the National Defense Authorization Act, where news media was allowed to spread propaganda legally to the American citizens, and there was a huge uptick. This was a long time ago. On Timcast, me and Tim talked about the rise of buzzwords in media.
Oh yeah, yep.
Racism, white privilege. All of these random things, microaggressions were just skyrocketed from that point, from 2013. And then look at this. I mean, this is a representation of the media convincing everybody that everyone is racist.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And they need to lay it in. They need to lay that racism in there.
Well, and this is the thing, like, it pushes the narrative for blacks that they don't have, they're in danger, they need safety, and they need help. And who's sitting right there for you? The government. Hey,
sorry.
Oh, you're good. We'll protect you. We got your best interests at heart. We're not racist. I mean, yes, we have a long history of, experimenting on, lower income areas and pushing, legislation that keeps, people in income areas that are typically black in bad places. We have a
Mm-hmm.
history of, releasing toxic chemicals in predominantly black neighborhoods and all these things,
Yeah.
but we're not the racist ones. It's the whites. I'm like, what whites? Like, who?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't even think it's whites. I think it's elites. That's
elites.
really because the
Yeah,
people at the very top of I don't want to say the top because I'm not I hesitate on it because I'm not putting them there. I'm not
yes,
putting them on some sort of a pedestal. I'm just saying they're the ones in control. They're the
yeah,
ones that are manipulating everything.
absolutely.
That's the only reason I'm saying they're at the top. Uh, they look down on everybody the same.
Yes,
They want everybody on welfare. They want everybody in the same situation that they have successfully put a lot of the black population. And I think
yes.
it's so sad. It reminds me of this clip that Floodzilla actually. Floodzilla?
Mm-mm.
Uh, Floodzilla joins me on Bay Staff Mondays. He's a fellow YouTuber, does a lot of reaction videos. Awesome dude, super based. Real interesting life he's led. That was a
Okay.
really good interview. But check this is something that he posted on Insta. This is from his Instagram, and he just kind of did a little mini reaction to a conversation between Mike Tyson and the guy from Good Burger who's on SNL now,
Oh, Kenan
Keenan.
Thompson. Yeah.
Keenan Thompson. That's it.
Oh
Listen to
dear.
this. And now we play the waiting game. Here we go. Oh, it's muted.
Also, the most hunted people on the planet because of this.
Hold on. How do I start this over?
The word is
Yeah,
bigger than you ever can conceive.
Yeah, but
How
we're
did
also
Jacob-
the most hunted people on the planet because of this disrespect towards this culture. Like we looked at as less than, and that word perpetuates that mindset in my opinion.
So again, I ask, who is looking at us as less than? Who is he talking about? To look at another race as inferior is the definition of racist. So he's obviously talking about racists. People like this don't understand that you can't control that type of thing. The problem is in the racist, not in the race that's being hated. I'm not going to change how I talk just to make a racist like me. He also said that we are the most hunted people on the planet. And I don't know what he's talking about. The only way I can see that statement being true is if the hunter is other black people, because statistics will tell you that you are most likely to be killed by someone that looks like you. And the same goes for white people.
The word is bigger than you ever.
Yeah.
Dude, flawed his base, man.
Yeah,
and he
man.
nailed it though. It's like,
no, 100%. Yeah.
Who's hunting them? Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah. You like I said, you push this narrative, you make everybody terrified, you cause divides, and then there's no unity.
Correct.
I don't know if you know who Killer Mike is from Run the Jewels.
I know Killer.
But,
I know of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he was one of the first people, of course they didn't talk about this in mainstream media, but like during the Summer of Love, he was one of the first people that stepped out. He said, "Stop burning down your neighborhoods." He goes, "It's the stupidest thing in the world to go into a black-owned businesses and burn those businesses to the ground." He goes, "If you want to change something, go out and vote. Go run for office. Go affect change the right way."
There it is.
Yep. Same guy that later, somebody asked him, this was an interview a few weeks ago or something like that. They asked him about Trump and he goes, I'd like Trump a lot more. He goes, "Listen, we know what Biden's politics have been since he started in office. He's consistently voted against and corrupt and have hurt, black interests and all kinds of stuff. Yet Trump's a businessman and he knows if you offer him something that makes sense, he's going to take it. He's a smart, he's not an idiot, contrary to what the world, there's a reason that after, in the second election that he had more black votes, more Hispanic votes than he did the first time around. But the media was telling everybody he was racist and hated hated black people. I'm like, it's weird. If he hates us so much, why are we all voting for him?
Yeah, they couldn't, and they didn't bring receipts with that too. That's what really annoyed me. That this blanket, MAGA, all MAGAs are racist, and it's like, where are you getting that information from? Like, what?
There is
from where? There is none.
There is none. And like you said, they know they can spread buzzwords. So when I was in high school, when I watched, it was Romney versus Obama in their election. I remember this happening. I was not a Republican, but I was more right leaning. And I remember they pushed the narrative, about the folder of women and how Romney was this rich guy with a silver spoon in his mouth and he couldn't relate to the American public, even though Obama's a millionaire too, but we'll ignore that part. So they pushed this narrative. And then after the election, I remember watching an interview where they said, and Obama flat out admitted it, he goes, yeah, we made that narrative up. We knew that if we pushed that narrative and that idea behind it, that they wouldn't relate to a Romney and they'd vote for us. Now I'm kind of glad Romney didn't get into office, but but as a kid, I remember watching that in high school and I went, oh my God, they're all lying. They're all full of shit. Like every single one of them. Mm-hmm. And so I don't have to look at them. I can't, just because he's black doesn't make him a good candidate. And it was unfortunate, but it showed right there that, the narrative that they push is whatever they think will manipulate the most people to give them what they want. And it sucks.
And that is politics.
Yep.
Politics 101.
Yep. Absolutely, man.
That's it right there. But yeah, that tweet was crazy. Anyway, enough about this. Let's talk about you. Let's talk. Who is Epic Mike? Let's start. Where are you from?
I am from Michigan. I was originally born in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
Yep. So I've lived all over the West Coast of Michigan. Like I lived in Grand Rapids. When I was like 7, we moved out to live with my grandma for a little while. She lived out in the middle of nowhere. She lived like an hour north of Grand Rapids in literally the middle of nowhere. Like, okay. It was a dirt road. You went like all these back roads, took a dirt road to go out. It was like 45 minutes out of like regular town in a small ass town. We were the only black people for like seriously 50 miles.
This is where you learned how to dig holes with shovels, right? This is where I learned how
to dig holes with shovels. Yes.
This will come into play later. Put a pin in that, everyone listening.
Yeah, we moved to continue. I went from like we lived in like ghettos and bad neighborhoods to 100 acres of just nothing but land.
Yeah. 100 acres.
100 acres. My grandfather bought 100 acres of land, and he just owned it, and he kept up like a section of it, which is where we all lived. But then the rest of it was just, you could go out there and explore it. And there were old cars and fields of rocks and all kinds of crazy stuff, dude. Yeah. I walked all 100 of those acres.
So how old were you when you moved to the middle of nowhere?
7. I was 7.
What an amazing age to explore that, though.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
100%, man. Yeah. It went from that, like I said, it went from, being in neighborhoods and not being able to go out when the lights went out because you knew there was bad stuff going on outside. And like during the holidays, sleeping on the floor because people shoot through your windows at night and stuff. Because during like sometimes in celebrations and stuff, people get really excited and they shoot their guns off.
Pow, pow, pow.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Straight up. Yeah. We had bullet holes in our windows and stuff. 100 acres on like a farm, like a ranch house. And yeah, man, my mom was just like, go explore. I don't care what you do.
You're safe here.
Yeah, you're safe here. And I was safer there in the middle of nowhere with like, I'd be out, a mile away from my house at 7, 8, fine. I was totally fine, So yeah, man, that was a fun time. I learned a lot. It was also helped my imagination grow a lot because that's what I had to do, so there was that. And then we
need more of that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, man. Yeah. I mean, that was where I got introduced to like TV and stuff because I grew up and my grandmother had every single episode of the original Star Trek on tape.
Nice. OG Star Trek.
OG Star Trek. Every episode of MASH. Never really got into MASH as a kid, but she loved it.
I've never seen MASH.
Ever. Yeah, it was never my thing. And then she had every episode of Looney Tunes. So I watched a lot of Looney Tunes. I watched a lot of Star Trek growing up.
Nice.
And then as we got like older and stuff, I watched a lot of like the Sci-Fi Channel and grew up watching a lot of the old school shows and stuff like that. $6 Million Man, the original Incredible Hulk, all of those shows. So yeah.
A-Team? You get
A-Team. Oh yeah, I love the A-Team. Oh
A-Team, yeah.
A-Team. Yeah, man.
I mean, so much.
Oh yeah, the original Wonder Woman. I mean, I watched a lot of those things as a kid.
Wow, okay.
Yep. Yeah, man. So
from another era too. It really feels like you kind of went and pulled from the past.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how old you are. I feel like we're kind of
I'm
similar in age.
I'm 32.
Okay, you're a little younger than I am. So you're
Yeah.
younger than me, and you went further back though. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we
Kind
went
of.
old school with it. So
I
yeah.
like that though, because the era that you basically saturated your young mind with, as far as sci-fi and imagine, because you were in imagination land, and you
Oh
were
yeah.
getting like back when they were creating new stuff,
Yeah.
and tackling real issues with nuance instead of right on the nose, which is what we see nowadays. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, this story sucks.
Yeah.
That's cool.
100%.
What a perfect way though to really learn sci-fi,
Yeah.
especially those old shows. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. We went old school. And then, yeah, I mean, as I grew up, my mom was always into sci-fi. So she watched like The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, all of that stuff. Star Trek was kind of our big thing.
Okay.
I got introduced to Star Wars at about the same age. My grandmother had the Star Wars like VHSs. So
The
I
first
watched
three?
those two.
Wow.
The first three. And it was before he edited them. It was the original Star Wars.
Do
And
you
I loved it as
do
a
you
kid.
still have those?
No, I have no idea where
Dang.
they've gone. Yeah, I
That's
know.
a shame.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that would have been great to have them. Yeah, but so I grew up
Pre-edit
watching
Han
those.
shooting first. Wow.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh yeah, man, it was crazy. The orange blob underneath all the land speeders and all. Yeah, dude, it was something. I grew up. I love those movies, but there was only the three, so I
Right.
watched those and was like, oh, this is pretty cool. You know,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of Star Trek to watch, so I watched a
there
lot
really
of that.
was.
Yeah, so my mom had me watching, the Next Generation, all of the old school Star Trek and stuff like that. And then as I grew up, I mean, those were the shows I watched growing up and stuff too. So, yeah,
What was
man.
what was your favorite Star Trek? Not of the different, because there's different Deep Space Nine, Next
Oh, yeah.
Generation, Enterprise, the original. Pick which one is your favorite?
Probably
Can you
Next
pick-
Generation.
It was
Yeah.
a classic. Yeah,
It was a classic. I think the storylines in Deep Space Nine are better. There's some there's like Garrick is one of the best characters in Star Trek, like hands down. He's one of the best.
I've never watched Deep Space Nine, and everyone always is like, "Dude, are you serious?"
But
I love
pretty
Star
good.
Trek.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's a lot of nuance to it, but I think the quintessential Star Wars or Star Trek experience, is Next Generation, 100%. Data, Worf, Picard, Riker, that whole cast was amazing. Other than Tasha, but they figured that out real quick and killed her off. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot about her.
Yeah.
She's forgettable. Anyway.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Enterprise?
I did.
I
but much
hear a
later.
lot of people have that same reaction. See, I like that one. I don't know what it was about that.
I don't know. My wife actually, she argues that she's a bigger Star Trek fan than I have, because she's actually watched every single Star Trek except for the original series. She's watched all of them at least twice. Some of them more than twice. Yeah, wow. And she watched Enterprise, and she's like, I was like, this show sucks. I don't like it. It just wasn't my thing. Yeah. But she's like, trust me, after like season 2, she's like, it gets really good. And I just never got into it. So I watched a couple episodes, and I was like, I can see that they picked it up, but I just couldn't get into it in the beginning. And so that was like my problem. So
see, you got to look at it from a different perspective, as its lore of the original, because it happens before all Star Trek.
Yeah.
They didn't have teleporters. They didn't have warp speed. All that stuff was created in that whole series. So you watch how they did it. I really loved that part of it. That's what hooked me in. That's the reason I was like, damn, I really love that. I love that because it feels like that's closer to where we are at. I mean, we're not close to it yet, but I mean, who knows? I mean, but look at technology.
100%, man. And that's kind of the argument my wife has made to me about it. And for me, I'd rather have Enterprise than anything that they've made now for Star Trek. Everything now is garbage. But
Discovery, Picard. I haven't watched Picard. I can't do it.
I watched the first 3 episodes of season 1 of Picard, and I said, this show is terrible. And I can't do it. I turned it off. I couldn't do it. So, yeah, I had other people watch it for me and tell me that it was just as bad as I thought it was going to be. So,
yeah.
It's
I saw the first season of Discovery. I liked some aspects of it, but overall, it didn't feel like a Star Trek movie. It was like they were trying to. I don't know. It was like a Transformers grand. You know how
yeah.
did Transformers, and it was like this big epic movie of huge things, and it just felt like they were trying to just CGI and like let's go big, and it's like that's not Star Trek.
No,
That's
no.
what is this shit? Like,
That's J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, and he was a bigger Star Wars fan, as he likes to tell everybody that he talks to about it. Yeah.
yeah. Wait, did he do that series?
No, he did
Okay.
he did the reboot movies, but the
What'd
thing
you think
is,
of those?
I like the first one. I thought the
I did
first one
too.
was good, but
Yeah.
it's an action flick. It's not sci-fi.
Okay.
It's like science action to me. Like they don't really grapple with the greater ideas of space exploration and all that stuff. But I
Yeah.
like the personal story. Like I love that they brought back OG Spock. I
True.
love that connection, that they really solidify that connection between Spock and Kirk. I liked a
Yeah.
lot of that. But the second one really, like, for me was just, I could see the writing on the wall was, this is not the same Star Trek, and it won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So yeah, and this is the thing. If you don't mind me ranting for a quick second about Star
Rant
Trek,
away.
but like this is the thing. So you're gonna see it a lot in these stories where they go back instead of trying to go, like, instead of doing something new, they'll go back into the past and affect stories from the past. And so the idea of going back to the original series and revamping the original series, okay, whatever. You want to do movies and want to get some money, but Discovery, everybody said you're going to have problems with the lore. There's too much going on during that time. And they said, oh, that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry. And then they completely retconned things in Star Trek. They completely
did they?
Oh yeah, Discovery's really bad. I mean, the spore drive that they have in their ship doesn't make any sense, because it would be more advanced than the technology they had in the Next Generation and Voyager and everything. I mean, there was just a lot of stuff in that. But here's the thing: they don't want Star Trek. They don't want to innovate Star Trek. They want to invade Star Trek. They want Star Trek to be the vision that they want it to be. It's what they've done with Doctor Who. It's why they do all this stuff retconning with Doctor Who. They do it in all these franchises.
Everything.
You have to go back, so you make the vision what you want it to be, instead of having to rely on what people have done before and reconcile with that vision before. It's like a kid going, "Oh, I don't like Star Wars. I'll write Star Wars myself." And it's like,
you just nailed it right there. I never thought about it that way. That is exactly it. Why?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like the way that you did it, and it's like
Yep.
everybody likes the way it is. So, but that one person suddenly becomes CEO, and her name is Kathleen Kennedy.
Yep.
I mean, that's just one example. But you're talking specifically about Star Trek, but I'm just in my head, I'm like, this is literally everything.
It's everything. Yes.
All culture is being just bombarded with that attitude. I'll just make it myself, and I'll tell you how you're supposed to think.
Yep,
100%. I
100%.
added a little bit, but
but that's exactly it. You know, and you see it. You know, they go back in history. If you want to go back and look at a person and say, okay, this person in history was problematic. You want to go back to the founding fathers and talk about the fact that it was kind of problematic that they were like professing Christians, but also owned a bunch of people. Okay, that you can talk about that stuff. But the thing is, that's not the conversation they want to have. It's not. You can have your heroes have problems and issues when are human beings and have flaws. It is your heroes are false idols, and we need to destroy them and destroy everything that they touched and had anything to do with. How are you going to cancel somebody that's been dead for 250 years?
Right.
Well, they want to, and by canceling them, they mean change every policy that they've ever had their hands on, affect everything that they've ever involved themselves with. I think it's funny because I don't know if you ever watched Hamilton, but Hamilton, it's interesting
like
because
the musical, you mean?
Yeah, the musical.
Hamilton, okay, I haven't seen it. No,
there's a lot of like woke elements in Hamilton, but the idea that Lin-Manuel Miranda was going for was like, hey, these guys were flawed people, but they were trying their best, and they were trying to do their best job, and they weren't perfect. But the message a lot of people walked away with, because today you can only have one message, and that's the message, is people back then were problems, and they didn't like people, and they didn't like, they owned slaves. If you own slaves, you can't be a good person. If you own slaves, you're the worst person in the whole world, and nothing you ever did or said or involved yourself with can be good. That's the attitude.
None of those people ever talk about the slaves today in Africa or in China.
Yeah.
Because there's actual slaves.
Yeah.
Why aren't they speaking out about that right now? The human rights that are being violated at this moment. No one cares. It's just like all they're doing is trying to change culture. That's it. That's
trying to change culture.
Or trying to end the Constitution. I think that's the real end goal.
That would be a really great goal, because then they're not bound by it. That's the thing. Once again, if you can go back and change the very core of what something was, you make it what you want it to be. If you're not bound by the Constitution anymore, you can pass whatever the hell law you want, and there's no argument anymore. I have never seen a situation where people are arguing, well, this country does it differently than we do. It's like, well, no shit. But look at France. They're completely bankrupt. It's a mess over there. They're having riots that we never talk about on the news, but they're having riots over there all the time. I mean, there's a lot of problems all over the world. Yep. But it's funny, because the people that are complaining the loudest about history, they only see the world through the lens of being in the United States.
That's true.
Everywhere else is better than the United States, and yet nowhere is better than the United States, because you're literally going, like, if they were to go to the Middle East and see how women are treated, see how gay people are treated, if you go to China and be black and listen to how they talk about you.
Right.
Like, there's a reason Disney hides black characters in their movies, because they know that the Chinese audiences won't receive them very well. It's a thing.
And they don't talk about that either. They're not like, all those people are like, okay, so basically China is racist. I mean, I'm not saying all Chinese people are racist, but from what we've seen, Disney caters to them. They removed John Boyega from. Yep. Well, they didn't remove him. They made him really small.
Pushed him into the back of the. They covered Chadwick Boseman's face in the Black Panther poster.
Did they? I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah, they put his mask on his face instead, because they're trying to sell that character. And but everything is through the lens of American culture and guidelines, and so it's like why you see these actors, they'll go to like a third world country, not get the real experience of a third world country, they'll get like the glamorous experience of it,
right,
and then adopt 2 kids from there and be like, I've done my part, I've adopted children from over there.
My goodness.
It's like, what are you doing? Or like, Bill Gates is like, I have billions of dollars, and you know what's really important to do over there? Vaccines. They really need vaccines over there. They're like, yeah, we also need clean water and food, but
right. I think that's the most important thing. Clean water and food, and maybe, a good habitation that, you are safe from insects and from the environment.
Yeah.
That's pretty important. No, just vaccinate them against all the stuff, and then they can continue living in squalor, because that's what it feels like. These elites like Bill Gates feel like, that's how they talk. Man, I cannot stand that guy. The way that he's like, and then he does all these like weird like hand movements, and I'm like, bro, I don't believe a thing you're saying. Like, well, stop moving your hands so much.
Well, he's like he's a nerd that got super rich because he was a nerd, and that's fine. Like, nerds being super successful, but a nerd is good at what they're good at, and whenever they deviate into other things, that there's going to be like issues. Like, you'll see quickly, like, you'll have like let's say a doctor that's really famous and on like the right wing will say something like, oh, I don't think we should be doing things like this with cars. People go, well, you're a doctor, what do you know? Why don't you just talk about cars? Yet Bill Gates is a guy that invented software, and he's talking about vaccines and buying up all the farmland in America,
right?
But nobody questions him. It's fine. It's totally fine.
And shorten Tesla stock.
Yep.
While spending millions and millions of dollars trying to, bombard Elon Musk with negative press. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny to me how Elon is the bad billionaire when, all billionaires at one point were all bad. Remember, like, they're the super elites. They're the worst of the worst. And now
millionaires and billionaires.
Yep.
Millionaires and billionaires are the worst. Oh, I became a millionaire. Oh, I'm a millionaire now. The billionaires. The billionaires are the problem. Oh, Bill Gates is a billionaire. I'm just gonna stop talking in public spaces. Do you
Yeah.
notice that Bernie Sanders isn't like in the news as much anymore?
Oh, he's dead silent. Yeah, he didn't say nothing. Listen,
Mhm.
I got the idea of Bernie Sanders when he first ran, but I tell you what, the second he endorsed Hillary Clinton, I lost all respect for the man.
Yep.
Because I'm like, so you're a spineless bitch, really? You like, you know, your party literally told you they ousted you, completely lied about you, and went behind your back. And your first answer is to go, cool, yeah, well, let's back Hillary.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you
Well,
like,
and talk about and talk about people that don't understand. Like you said, you mentioned celebrities going to these countries. It's like you don't get the vibe of a country until you like meet a local and the local takes you around. You know, if you're some rich celebrity and you hire like a service that brings you around or whatnot, you know, like you're seeing all the sights. And and then Bernie Sanders, he's never worked a job in his life. He went from school into government. And he's been a politician. That's it. That's his only job his entire life. Like that dude has no idea what it's like to work hard and not get paid as much as you should get paid for a job, or get your fucking hands dirty doing, you know?
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
But no idea.
But yet the conversation around people that do have actual life experience, like look what they did the same thing. Two people on the opposite ends of the spectrum with politics. Ben Carson, when he ran, he went from poverty with nothing, with a mother that was illiterate, couldn't read, to school, worked his way up, became an extremely successful brain surgeon, and then got into politics because he was like, something has to change. And their narrative about him literally was, oh, he's boring. He's boring. Who wants to listen to him talk? I'm like,
it's like boring. The guy's one of the smartest men in America. Like, how dare you? He was the first doctor ever to perform. He took what is
conjoined twins, and he
conjoined twins and successfully split them apart.
Yeah.
Like that's first time ever. Like that's incredible. And how are they boring? What do you want? What do you want? Celebrities as politicians? No, I want people who are trying to make America continue being strong.
Yep.
It's like, damn, dude, they did Ben Carson so dirty.
They did him
man.
so dirty. And then we had in the last election, Andrew Yang, which I'm not saying I agree with all of Yang's politics, but Yang is a dude that worked really hard. He got off the ground. He's really smart. And he's like, I want to figure out how to fix this whole thing and do right by people.
I don't like universal basic income.
That's problematic. But what I appreciated was he did the math. He was trying to explain the math to people. He actually had a thought. He didn't just go like, we need universal health care. And you go, well, how we're going to do that? And they're like, I don't know, but like, we need it. He's like, well, here's the math. Here's why it works in my head. You know, so, you know, but their attitude about him was he's boring. That was their conversation about him. He's boring.
Yang was? Is that what they're saying about him too?
They said that Yang was boring. Yeah, they didn't want to listen to him talk. Yeah, you can watch it. You can watch, if you go back and look the coverage, they purposely were cutting him down time-wise. And he complained. He goes, I'm not getting enough time to talk. And they go, well, you know, I mean, you're boring. Like, what do you want us to do?
You're not excited enough for the base. It's like, that's what it is. Politics is all about just, you know, dancing for the camera and, you know, making people excited to come out for you. And it's like, that's why they couldn't handle Trump.
Yeah.
Because Trump was already an entertainer. He already kind of knew how to do that. So he just brought that along and was like, oh, I got this. I don't need you to do that. Oh, and I also have money, so I don't need your money either.
Yeah. He didn't need any of it. And they were like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, and I'm running for president. And they're like, wait, hold on a second. You can't do that. And he goes, the hell I can't. They literally thought they thought, like, I remember listening to people. There was no doubt in their minds that Hillary was winning that election.
I remember,
there was a 0% chance that Trump was going to win this election. And like the night of, they were like, actually, he might win this. And they're like, there's no way. That's impossible. I mean, hell, Hillary was like ready to give her speech and everything.
I know.
And then they were like, you didn't win. And she was like, wait.
She still thinks she won.
Yeah.
She's like, about it.
Yeah, she's like, well, I mean, the Russian collusion. I'm like, oh yeah, Russian collusion. Interesting.
That's now been officially proven that she signed off on it. You saw
Yep.
that, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, oh,
But they don't
come
talk
on,
about that.
Hillary.
Yeah, and then when Trump's like, hey, they're going to steal this election from us, guys. Like, by the way, if you didn't know, they're absolutely working to try to get me out of office. They're like, that's never happened.
For the record, we're not saying that that's what happened, you two.
No, we're not.
That's what they were saying.
That's what
he was saying that was going to happen. We're not stating at all that that's what happened.
I forgot. Yes, I forgot. Yeah, Mama Susan's watching. Yes,
always.
Never. Not saying that, but just the conversation. The fact that you can have a conversation on one side of the aisle, but the conversation in the other is immediately just like shut down. And the fact is, like, we're in a situation where we see people going like, oh, that's not a thing. That would never be a thing. And I'm like, since when? Like, since when has politics not been corrupt? Like, I mean, so
always.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, but it's an interesting situation. And like you said, if we actually want to see growth and change, you see people that actually work their way up the ladder, actually try to do something unique, and actually like had a plan, and they were immediately shut down and ignored in favor of who was more trendy.
Well, they want to keep the establishment in the circle.
Yes.
So they have like the younger generations. Gavin Newsom, for example, he's a younger generation of the elites. He's just the next in line to take the mantle. But I want to bring it back to you.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I know I rant, so.
No, what are you talking about? Sorry, this is awesome. I love a good conversation. How the hell did you get so involved in politics? Like, how did you become, like, you're very obviously knowledgeable about all of this. Like, what were you always? I mean, was your family conservative? You said you were right-leaning when you were younger, so it's like obviously some sort of values were impact.
So like a bit, but honestly, it's just my own observations. I didn't really know anything about politics. So I will say this. I didn't know my grandfather. He passed away when I was like 3. But like my grandfather was really involved in local politics.
Smart.
Like I said, we were the only black family in like 50 miles, maybe farther away even than that, where we lived. They moved from like Chicago during the like 70s or whatever. It was bad over there, and they were like, we got to get out of here. So he packed up with my whole family, and then my grandfather or my great grandfather followed him as well, and they just moved out. They bought 100 acres of land out in the middle of like nowhere, and they said, we're going to live here, and we're just going to start it up. He started like a small farm and all this stuff, and he just started working, and he was involved in a lot of politics behind the scenes. He started a lot of programs because in our area there's a lot of Native Americans, and there was a lot of issues with like Native American, like a lot of alcoholism and poverty with the Native American population. So he started programs to like help them and get them involved in work and get them involved jobs and all kinds of stuff. He did a lot, behind the scenes, and I didn't understand it growing up. But like, as I've gotten older, I realized there's a legacy there for me. I mean, I'm actually the first person in my family that didn't go to college. Like
that
straight up, that didn't go to college. Yeah, all of my aunts and uncles. He told them, he goes, listen, if because this was back in the 70s and the late 70s and 80s and stuff. He goes, listen, if you're gonna be a black person in this community, you're gonna have to work extra hard, because they're gonna look at you and assume that you're like other people. They're gonna look at you and assume you're either looking for handouts or you don't want to work hard. That's what they're gonna think about you. Work your butt off, do something with your life. So he told all of my family members, like all of my aunts and uncles, like, either go to college or go in the military, one of the two, make something of yourself. So both of my uncles were in the military. All of my aunts went to college. All my mom has 2 master's degrees and my aunt has a doctorate. My other aunt, who passed away about 10 years ago, she also had 2 master's degrees. I mean, all of them very well educated, So I was the first one not to go to college, but I didn't go to college not because I was dumb and couldn't go to college. I didn't go to college because I fucking hate school. I hated the system, and probably
it's not the same either.
No, it's not.
College now versus college in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
You know, not the same thing. Now they're indoctrination factories. You know, it's a whole different ball
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So I grew up and I was just like, I was about, oh, what was it? 11th grade of school. My teacher, I had a history teacher. His name is, oh man, I don't remember his name now. I forgot his name. Whoops. He's important. No, I know. My bad. But he probably wouldn't want me saying his name on the internet anyways.
Good.
He did a video. He had us watch the movie Elizabeth with wow, I can't remember her name. Kate Blanchett. Yeah. And he did something that I had never seen done with politics for me in my life before. He had us watch the movie, and as we watched the movie, he stopped it and explained what was happening in history at that time and what was going on in politics. And he stopped and explained Machiavellianism and why Machiavelli was even involved back then, and all this different stuff. So there was a ton of explanation about why people were doing what they were doing then and how it affects now. And I was like, wow. Yeah. So I right after that, we got done watching that movie. I picked up a copy of The Prince and read that book. I've read it twice. It's been a long time since I've read it. But so that was kind of like my first red pill experience. I was like, wow, actually, there's a lot going on with this, and there's a lot to be had. And it's not just politics, but it's how policy, how culture, all of it influences people, and how it influences the trajectory of a nation, a country, a nation, a world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I wouldn't say I'm super versed in politics. I know about politics. I kind of adopted a strategy a long time ago, like the jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm particularly great at any one specific thing, but I'm good at a lot of things and I'm knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. And so politics, if we want to talk politics, I studied enough about it and read enough about it and has paid enough attention. That's another big thing. A lot of people don't forget to pay attention to politics too.
Truth. Yeah.
Because if you don't watch what the other side is doing, you won't know when they're coming for you. If you only, the problem with the left is their echo chamber got so big and so full of their own people that they didn't notice when somebody started, when the glass started cracking. They didn't notice when Trump was walking in the scene and was making enough noise. They were like, there's no way that he becomes president. There was no conception in their world that he became president. It's why they freaked out like that. Trump derangement syndrome, that joke, is because that's never saw. Well,
that's not a joke. That's the real thing.
Is that real? I always thought that was a joke.
No.
Wow.
No, that's real. Yeah.
Well, it's because they couldn't conceive of a world where that would ever happen. Imagine being told that it's impossible for the sky to ever be pink. And then one day you wake up and the sky's pink. But you were taught your entire life it never could happen. It's literally impossible. Your world shatters. And I think that's really where we are now. Is they got complacent and they got arrogant. I mean, we're seeing it now with policies where they flat out tell you what they're doing. They tell you what they're doing, with kids and in schools and how they're indoctrinating people in college and all their plans. They just laid it all out there like a villain monologuing, and now it's all reversing on them. And they didn't expect that to ever happen. They never thought that anybody would ever fight back.
But everyone wants this. It's like, no, no one wants any of that shit. You keep that to yourself. My goodness. Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So I adopted that strategy a long time ago. So because I want to be able to, a big thing is I like conversation and I want to be able to talk with people about everything that they're talking about. And if I don't know about something, I'll go read about it really fast and learn as much as I can about it so I can engage in those conversations, because you just never know who you're going to run into and what they're going to be interested in. And
it's true.
And I love, it's one of my favorite things ever to run into a group of people and they're talking about something and assume you don't know. And then you can talk with them and they're like, oh, dude, you know about this? Because
you know about this?
Yeah. You're like, no way. And then you get to talk to them about it. And then typically I learn more because they start to tell me stuff I didn't know about that subject that they engage me in. So, yeah.
Cool. I like that. That's a good way of being, and I find I'm very similar to that. When I like being good at whatever I do. And I if I focus on something, I become very good at it, but I tend not to. I became really heavy into skating for a while and then just somehow ended up as a pro skater. And I was like, damn, all right. Awesome. But it's I think I feel talking to you now, and then we've engaged before, and I follow you, so I could tell you're probably the same way.
Yeah.
But there's an environment that school kind of, what it does is it says, this is the mold, fit in it.
Yes.
Oh, you don't fit in it? Take some drugs.
Yeah.
This will make you fit in it. Like, that's basically school, right? And
100%.
there's a lot of people that just cannot fit in molds, and we need more people like that. We
Yes.
need people to create. You mentioned this earlier about how people go back and morph and change things. It's because risk is too scary for these people.
Yeah.
Risking failure is not even an option to them. They we
Yes.
have to go for the sure bet, because that's what makes money. That's what gets the clicks. We know what works. And it's like, we're in an era of just nobody wants to risk. No, I can't say nobody. We got Eric July, pops
Yeah.
in my head right away, with
Yeah.
the Rippaverse. So it's coming soon. I'm really excited about it.
Oh yeah, me too.
He keeps teasing it. It's coming. Like, he's securing everything.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's a risk. He's
That's a
taking a
risk.
risk. But I believe in him.
Yeah.
I hear the way he talks about that dude knows his shit. Like,
Yeah, he
that
does.
I can't wait to see the Rippaverse. I know it's going to be good.
100%, man. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like you said, it's a failure. It's a fear of failure, because if your whole goal is the message and you fail, it means the message has failed. And it's in the parallel that I've been using a lot for people, because I want people to understand it, is like, you can literally take like the leftist message and the mentality and SJW, virtue signaling, all of that stuff, you wrap it up into a package, compare it to how you compare like religious extremists and how they look at the world.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, and I like, I have my, I'm dedicated to that and everything, but I can see the flaws of it being applied in the wrong way. Like,
Right.
I mean, Jesus was more critical of the church in his day than most people were at his time, but like, there's an attitude of like, if the attitude in the church is, if I make a Christian movie, it has to have a message. If I'm not talking about salvation, the movie isn't good, because
Right.
that's the basis for it. So these people think it's why they've done all the stuff with like the ESG and all that shit like that behind the scenes, is, if I can't be measured by money. Money doesn't bother me. It's not money that's the important thing. It's the message. So if I can push the message, and I know that I've reached as many people as I can with the message, that's a success to me. And if we make money down the road, cool. It means we can push more of the message. But these people don't give a shit about making money. They're about selling a message. They're on, they're like on a holy crusade to share the message.
Yep. That's what that Twitter employee was saying. He's like, we don't make money. We are just trying to keep a narrative, and get rid of the people that don't follow the money. Like, we don't even make money. Like, who cares? And it's like, it's a business. Do you understand all the shareholders that are like pissed off? DeSantis was thinking about suing Twitter because I don't remember what government, I think 401k or one of those things had investments in Twitter, and they're like, we haven't made any money. It's like, they were thinking about suing Twitter, and it turns out from a Twitter employee that they in fact weren't trying to make money. It wasn't a business. It was them just trying a control for the narrative, and that's all media.
All media, man. Yep. And that's the thing. That's why these news publications are losing money hand over fist. It's why they inflated all their numbers in the beginning. They backlogged it, and they did everything they could to make their investors as happy as possible to push this message. And here's the thing. If you tell a lie long enough, you'll start to believe your own lie. And I think that's the problem that we're seeing a lot of, is there are definitely people that knew the lie was not true. But guess what? Those people have enough money and enough resources behind the scenes that they'll be fine. They'll be fine when everything collapses around them. But if the attitude is this, and I've said this a lot. I say it all the time on Twitter and stuff. Like, they know that the pendulum shifts. The pendulum always swings in politics and culture, everything. It always has. It always will. So if the attitude as a leftist, let's say, is let's push the line as far out as we possibly can and gain as much ground as we possibly can. And let's say we gain this amount of ground, and then the pendulum shifts and we lose this much ground, we gain this much. So when the pendulum shifts, we're still at a net positive. We still have ground that we've gained, and that means we can push the politics further. It means we can push the ideas further. It's like I've told people, if you want to know what's going to happen and what's going to be the narrative society in the next 20 to 30 years, go look at sitcoms and what kind of attitudes are in sitcoms. Go look at how sitcoms are doing it. Go look at how many jokes are made about pedophilia in sitcoms, or how many jokes are made about bestiality in sitcoms and all this stuff. Go look at that stuff, because the thing is, there's a pattern in entertainment. If we can make you laugh, you'll let your walls down, and then we'll insert some of it into like dramas here and there. You'll see it pop up in like indie films. We saw it with like the movie that popped up on Netflix, Cuties. It's a test. It's a barometer test. How are people going to respond to this? And when people get mad, they back off. They go, "Oh yeah, that's not what we meant. That's not what we meant." But you can actually gauge how what the narrative that entertainment's pushing. You always can. You can look right at it and see it. They flat out tell you what they're gonna do next. But they think that most people won't notice it because you're laughing at it. Yeah. If it's funny to you, then you won't notice that that's what we're pushing. And it's a thing that happens all the time. Seed the idea, gain as much ground as possible. When the pendulum shifts, we'll just wait in the wings. We'll hide in the shadows. We'll let them do what they're going to do. We'll lose a little bit of ground, but we won't lose nearly as much, because we know that when the pendulum shifts again, the pendulum swings from right to left, because the right starts to stop caring about culture and starts to care more about politics. It's what happened in the 70s and stuff too. They stopped caring about culture. The church and everything used to be like really involved in movie making. They used to be like, you have to sell moral messages in movies. You can't add, certain things aren't allowed in movies. They used to like judge how movies were made. And then they one day just stopped and they started getting into politics. Reagan, they started talking with Reagan, and that's why all these evangelical, televangelists and stuff started to get involved with Reagan and stuff. They got involved with politics. It became more interesting to them, and they also made a lot more money with it. And then all of a sudden, culture started to shift. Watch how the 70s, what kind of movies were being made in the 70s, 80s, 90s. They just started pushing the bar farther and farther and farther, and they've had probably 40 years of almost unchecked in entertainment, and it's why we're where we are right now. Yeah. So yeah, man, I mean, there's an ebb and flow to all of it, and that's why I tell people, like, it's not about letting the pendulum shift. I don't want another right shift, because they know that it'll shift back. It's about breaking the pendulum and trying to push an actual real narrative in culture and in politics about people. That's what it should have always been about. Our founding fathers, they definitely had political ambitions and ideologies, but at the end of the day, they wrote the Constitution and they wrote the Bill of Rights for people.
Yep.
Like, that's why they're so important. It's because they were about people. How can we help people get better and grow? Did you just get attacked by a fly?
Yeah, there's a fly in this room. I had my window open earlier today because it was a nice day out. And then it started raining, but it was like a really pleasant rain. And I was yeah, I'm going to open my window. It was raining. And I was like, all of a sudden, I was on my computer reading some stuff, and a fly landed right dead center. And I'm like, really? Really? Bro, why are you attacking me?
He's like, it's one of those government flies.
It's a spy. It's a spy
fly. Yep, it's a spy fly. If you crush it.
I wonder if I can. All right, I might smack the mic. I need something to like smack. He's just sitting and looking at. He's mocking me right now.
Yeah, because he's like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do right now on your show?"
He just went like this. Yeah,
he's challenging me, bro.
I don't have anything to like smack.
Do you have your canned air?
Yeah. Well,
you can spray him with that. Try to twist it upside down and spray him with it. It'll freeze his.
Well, it's like a. It's one of these. It's not.
Just do it above him and try to like squish him.
This motherfucker. Hold on.
This is another.
Didn't work. Just blew him up.
Damn.
I knew it. I didn't think it was gonna work. Anyway, Man, where were we? Well, you know what? Let's put politics aside for a second.
Yeah.
What have you been doing in your what did you do in your 20s then? So you didn't go to college. You failed your grandfather. Shame on you. But
I know, man. Yeah.
I'm just
No, I know.
But so what did you end up doing in your life? What have you been up to for the past decade?
So I got out of high school, got super depressed, and did nothing for like 2 years, because I was like trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. Actually, that's not true. Okay, let me go back. There's a section in there. I got out of high school, so in about it was like 10th grade, I got really, really into professional wrestling.
Really?
Really into professional wrestling.
Wait, what kind of wrestling though?
Like WWE, like
oh, okay, that kind of wrestling.
Yeah,
right.
WWE wrestling. I got really into it. I
Okay.
loved the way it worked. I loved the storytelling in it. I loved the whole idea of it. I used to catch every episode of Raw, SmackDown, everything. I consumed it.
It's physical theater. I mean,
yeah, man, it is.
Those guys they do a lot of work. It's crazy what they do.
Absolutely, man. And I loved it. So I got really into it. I started studying it, looking into it, and I was like, I might want to do this, like for real, for real. So I found a school, everything. So I got out of high school and I gathered up all the money that I had and all of this stuff, and I packed up my stuff, and I actually moved to Atlanta. And I moved down there to Atlanta because there was a school that I was going to go to down there. And I was supposed to live with a guy down there. He had it all set up. He goes, yeah, man, come stay with me, get on your feet, get started on this wrestling thing, and we'll get you going. So I told the school I was coming down, everything. We had it all planned out. And I got down to Atlanta, and the day I get down there, I call the guy up, and he's like, oh, man, my life situation has totally changed. I don't know. You're going to have to figure something else out. Damn. And I was like, yeah, I was like, bro, I just like risked it all from this. So I went to the school, talked to the guy and everything, and I stayed down there for a little bit to try to get something going so I could like find a place to stay and find work and all that stuff. And it just didn't work out. And I ended up having to come home, and I came home with my tail tucked between my legs, and I got super depressed. Okay. I was just bummed out. I was just, I went for the dream. Didn't really work out. I was broke inside. And I think part of that was the fact that like I was young and stupid and should have given more thought to how I was going to do it. But hindsight's always 20/20. So I was super depressed for a couple of years, and I just started like working on like just dead end jobs and stuff like that. That's what I started doing. Okay. And I got a job at a factory and was just doing monotonous stuff. And one day I was like, I was super bored, and I was like, man, I can't keep doing this. I'm going to lose my mind. So I started like coming up with this idea for a TV show in my head. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll just think about this idea. And this idea kept kicking off and got bigger and bigger. And I had like a couple notebooks full of like ideas and concepts. And I started coming up with other ideas for shows and stuff. And I was like, man, like, that's really cool. I wonder what this whole thing looks like. So I started reading about, television and movies, and I started watching movies a lot, and I got really invested in movies. I also got really heavy into gaming about that time too, because I had gamed my whole life, but I got really heavy into gaming like about that time too. Like my first like real binge like hardcore game was like Fallout 3, and I played like way more of that than I wanted, like 200 plus hours. That was a very good game. Yeah,
that's it. 200 plus hours.
No, I was gonna say for my first playthrough, I did 200 plus hours for my first.
First playthrough.
Yeah, and I went back and did it. I literally collected like every weapon, every secret in that game, and I was like, I got to play it through a different way now. So I did, but so I got like really into gaming and stuff during that time. And honestly, for like the next, because I'm 32 now, out of high school, I was 18 when I got out of high school. So like 18 to like 21, I just started consuming media and like just trying to figure things out. And then I met my wife at 21. We got married at 21. Oh, did you find a fly? Did you get him? Did you get him?
Boom. I just caught him.
See, he didn't think you were looking.
That's right.
So yeah.
Proof.
Look at that. You put it, you like nail it to the wall as like a trophy. Be like, this is for your other fly friends.
That freaking fly has been pissing me off all day. He's been in here for 4 hours. He's probably just wants to go outside. but I don't care.
Yeah. Hey, he's gone.
I just ended that fly's life. That's right. I did it.
That's
I
what
killed
that's what it gets. Trying to
You're done,
interrupt.
fly.
You know, he's
You're
dead.
done. You're done.
Dead.
Oh, he's over
Yeah.
here now. Whatever. Right. Come at me. If he comes back alive and starts flying around, I'm gonna freak out.
I'm gonna freak out too. Yeah. You're like, oh no, it was a government fly. So yeah, I met my wife at 21. We got married. Everybody's like, that's way too young to get married. I was like, whatever. It is what it is. I loved her, and
If you know, you know.
We know. Yeah. I mean, it's been 10 years, coming up on 11 this year, so something's right.
Yeah.
But then about 5 months after we got married, she was like, we're having a baby. I'm like, cool, awesome. Well, all of this stuff about movies and stuff needs to go on the back burner. I need to go like work. That's what we need to do.
I need to make money now.
Yeah. So I started a small business doing like firewood deliveries and stuff. And that's what I did for 5 years actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I ran like a small business and delivered firewood to people around the area and stuff like that. And it was pretty good. The problem in Michigan is when winter hits, it gets cold and there gets to be a lot of snow, and it's really hard to get around in the woods and get people firewood during the winter time.
Makes sense.
So after a while of that, I was like, I'm making money, but I could be making a lot more doing something else. So I left firewood and started another job, and that job paid pretty well. And I did that job for quite a few years. Like fixing people's homes. Like I got into like restoration. It's like if your house floods, if you have a fire in your house, I'd come clean it up and stuff like that. So I started working for a company doing that and stuff. But during all of that time,
what were you doing though? I'm curious because I love that kind of stuff. I'm just
like,
what kind of work did you do personally?
I was the guy that like come in your house and tear apart your house and like dry it all out and everything.
You were the demo guy. All right.
I was the demo. Yep, the demo guy, and then I was like the dryer too. I was a restoration technician, so I did it all.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, I'd come in your house. Like the nice thing is I knew how to talk to people, which is part of the reason that the guy hired me, because I was really good at talking to people. Because like you walk into somebody's house and their entire house is flooded and they're freaking out. So you talk them off there, talk them down. Oh, it's all good. It's, and then, you'd get to work, gut their house. Sometimes I've gutted houses down to the studs before, stuff like that. And then you dry the house, get it back in the working order, and then take off and let somebody fix it for you. Yeah. So,
cool.
Yeah, man, I did that for a long time. But during that time, I was like, cool, man, I'm making good money and stuff. And it was about that time, actually, I met Josiah Rises.
Oh,
and stuff.
Josiah.
We lived literally right around the corner from each other. And yeah, I know that story will get interesting in a second here.
You see the smile on my face.
I did. So yeah, I met Josiah. We connected about stuff, and we both loved movies. And we're like, dude, we should collab on some stuff. Like we both got really good ideas. So we talked a bunch, became really fast friends and everything. And I helped him with a couple projects that he did behind the scenes. I did a lot of work with him and stuff like that on some projects. He did a full length movie that I helped him, get off the ground and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's how I met him. And I was just working and stuff like that. And then from there, he started doing YouTube, and I was like, YouTube, really, dude? Hey, good on you, man. Cool.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, look at him now. I mean, he's obviously done very well for himself on YouTube.
So
yeah,
I was going to ask you right off the bat, right in the beginning of the show. I was like, but then I decided not to, because it was a good flow so far, obviously. But I got to ask. So I didn't know who you were until Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah.
I think it was Tuesday night's main event is when we first met.
It was. Yep.
And the only thing that anyone said for the first couple times we met, came up in conversation, was that you killed Josiah.
That I murdered Josiah. Yeah.
So what's it like being, I don't know, I don't want to say famous, but be
infamous for murdering a guy?
Yeah, there we go. What's it like being infamous for killing what now I've come to find from your own mouth, one of your best friends?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, what's it like to kill your own best friend?
Yeah, dude.
It was a hard choice, man. We had talked about it. We had been collabing on stuff, and I was like, hey, man, I don't know. I think we got to do something different here. And I don't know.
We gotta fake your murder.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to kill you, bro. And he's like, wait, what? And I was like, hey, man, hit him in over the head with a shovel, buried him, and he disappeared for 6 months. And
Now,
Yeah.
what really happened though? He lost
So-
his internet or something, or
Yeah, so YouTube demonetized him, said he was a
Okay.
danger to the community. And he was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're done. Like you're completely done with this." So he was like, "Cool, well, let's figure something out." So we started another channel that we did some work with, and we started a podcast that we did for a little while. And then he got internet, but he was like, "Hey, bro, I'm moving." Or yeah, that's what he got remonetized out of nowhere. Just YouTube was like, "By the way, you're remonetized," and he's like, "A year ago, you told me no." So I don't know what happened. But then he goes, yeah, well, I'm remonetized. That's awesome, but I'm moving. And I was like, awesome. Where are you moving to? And he told me, and I was like, dude, there's no internet out there. And he goes, I know. There's one company out there, and they were trying to get internet. And they were like, yeah, you'll have internet as soon as you move out there, like within a few months. Yeah, it took them, it took them 8 months.
Wow.
Or something like some crazy thing like that. It was a long time. Yep.
That's crazy.
So we were like, dude, what do we do about this? Like, I'm like, what do we got to do? Because like you've completely disappeared, and it looks really bad because like we were doing projects and now we're not. And he goes like, I don't know, man. Like, what do we do? So we started talking, and we came up with this idea that we would shoot this promo so that when he finally did get internet back, that we'd sell this narrative that I murdered him, and then we had to resurrect him, and he was coming back from the dead.
Dude, the hand out of the
yeah. Yep. So we shot
so well done though.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, we shot that promo like months before we even released it. Yeah, and we're just like, yeah, dude, we'll just sit on it. And I'm like, behind the scenes, like we had let Jeremy know, like kind of the joke on the joke. And then it was during like a random like stream. Ryan just went off one stream and he goes, "You murdered Josiah. You killed the guy. We know you did," and stuff. And then it blew up. So like everywhere I went, anytime I was on any stream or doing anything at all, yeah, people were like, "You murdered Josiah? You're a murderer." Like people, like I straight up had people be like, "You're a murderer." Yeah, they were like, you killed the guy. Like, how do you get away with this stuff? Yeah, yeah, man.
Wow. Well, it worked. It worked. That's
man.
I didn't know that you were so involved in that production of making those or that clip. His return stuff and those videos, like those are well done. I like that. That's
he did a really good job. Yeah, we
cool.
actually shot a lot of that in a night together. We just were like, dude, we got this idea in our head. That's how we've always worked. Is like he'll have an idea or I'll have an idea, and we're like, dude, let's talk about this. And then like we'll just start like bouncing off of each other concepts and ideas, and like start building like a thing together. And yeah, man, that's always been our goal. He's just as passionate about movies as I am, and we both really work really well together. And then what was it in 2020 during the Summer of Love? I was, they did the lockdowns and everything, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is for your own good." And I was an essential worker, but even though I was an essential worker, I saw a lot of our work dry up because you call people to be like, "Hey, my house flooded," but they're like, "You could kill me with you can't come into my house. I could die from whatever. You might be contagious." All this stuff. Like I could come in with a hazmat suit and people were still freaking out about people being in their house. Like the narrative sold so hard that people were just terrified. So I saw a lot of work dry up, and I was like, you know what? I got time. I got money saved up. I really want to get really in on this movie making thing. So I went to a school. There was a school in California that they used to have like a screenwriting class, and they're like, hey, if you want to do it, it's a 6-week course. You come to California and you do in LA and you do the screenwriting course. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be away from my family for 6 weeks. You guys are out of control. On top of the fact that like, yeah, I'm not going to stay in California for 6 weeks for a class. But then magically they were like, hey, actually we're offering online courses now because nobody could talk to each other. Yeah. So I was like, cool. So I hit them up. I sent them some of my, I had some sample work and stuff like that. I sent it to them. And they really liked it. And they were like, cool. Yeah, we want you involved with this. So I did the 6-week course. Learned a lot. I mean, it was every day. It was like 2 or 3 classes a day. And it was like all this stuff like that. And it confirmed a lot of stuff I already knew about story, but it helped me figure out how to do like screenwriting and all that stuff like that. Got really excited about it. And then at the end of the class, I had a full outline for a script that I was ready to go with. And I was like, cool, I really like this. I'm going to put this on the back burner because this idea is something I really like, but I want to be more experienced before I try to do it, because everybody in the industry tells you don't ever start with your baby. Don't ever like try to write your baby without experience, because you don't know what you're doing
Right.
and you'll get too attached to the idea. So
It's a good point. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yep. So yeah, man, I've been
Awesome.
writing since then. Got a lot of projects behind the scenes that I've been working on and stuff like that. But yeah, and then the Geeks and Gamers thing is a whole nother situation, because I've been actually like part of Geeks and Gamers and like talking with Jeremy since they were just a Facebook group, like before they had a YouTube channel, any
Cool.
of that stuff. So
Oh, I know all about that. Jeremy was
Yeah.
on the show and he broke it down. I wanted to know the history of Geeks and Gamers, so
yeah,
I know the whole from start to now. It's a
dude,
cool
Jeremy's
story.
he's a cool guy, man. I was just
He
like,
is.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Jeremy's cool.
yeah, man, and that's kind of how I got involved with them. They were like, "Hey, we need somebody for our gaming stream. Do you want to jump on?" I was like, "Sure, man." I mean, just that was when Josiah was there, and then sure enough, like a couple weeks after I started gaming with him, Josiah disappeared. So it literally looked like I killed the guy and took his spot. And I was like, I didn't, but it definitely looked like it. So
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, man.
So what are you playing now? What games got your fancy?
Right now, so I finished Elden Ring on my Twitch stream. Like I started a build from zero, and everybody got to watch me start from zero. I did a pure mage build, no swords, only staffs. And as you got to see,
I've met your mage.
Yeah. So and he got
you did kill me though. You have killed me.
Yeah, I think
So
I think the thing is, I think it's 4-3 right now. You're up on me one, because yeah, the Rivers of Blood is the most terrifying thing I've ever ran into in that game.
Well, I don't use it anymore. I use the whips. I love the whips now.
Really?
Although I haven't played in a little while. I've been playing Destiny, and I blame you. Actually,
yeah, that's my fault.
It's your fault. For those who don't know, it's this guy's fault that I started playing Destiny again. But I mean, I love that game. I've been a Destiny player since Destiny 1. And
Same. Yep.
I love the Destiny universe. There's something really I like that it's based on our reality in the future, as if some sci-fi thing happened.
Yeah.
And it's really I like that. So it made me and it's very buttery. Bungie does it. They have a lot of experience with making games. The soundtrack is absolutely incredible.
Music is amazing.
There's something about being able to be with your homies, do PvE, player versus environment, and PvP, player versus player. For those who aren't familiar with the lingo, you could do either or, whatever, and it's like I love that kind of game.
Me too.
You know, especially with your homies. You know, I really like that.
Yeah. Destiny is much more fun when you play with people. I played the first Destiny for until the Taken King. I had no one else to play with. It was just me by myself. And then I met a group of guys in Britain, actually, of all places, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come game with us?" I was like, "Dude, I'd love to." And we played the whole Taken King DLC together, and we did the raid. Oh, I don't know how many times, dude. That was one of my favorite raids in all of Destiny. Yeah, Destiny was great. Destiny 2 was, it was good, but it wasn't.
No,
as good as Destiny.
It started shitty, dude.
Yeah.
That they changed it a lot. I feel like I'm playing Destiny 3, I'll be honest, right now. That's how drastically different from when I was playing Destiny 2. Because when it first came out, they didn't have random rolls anymore. Every single item was static, and it was so boring. It's like once you had the items, it's like, all right, well, everyone else has the same thing. And it's like there's no reason to like try to continue to get. Once you get it, it's like, oh well, now I have it. You know, instead of like I really want the god roll. I want to get like the perfect roll.
Yeah, I remember chasing god rolls, man. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I got you back into it, and I feel bad because I haven't got back into it yet.
I haven't seen you on there.
I know. I need to get back into it.
We talked about it. You were like, "Oh yeah, you could join the clan," and I was like, "What's the clan's name?" Well, go ahead, remind me.
What is it? Was it Gang? I don't remember. It was something.
No, it was way stupider than that. Not stupid, just goofy is a good way of. It was.
I don't remember the name of it. It was not good though. It was a bad name. Yeah.
Hold on. I need to let everyone know how bad this was. It should
Dub
be
City. Dub City.
Dub City? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was the Dub City was the name of the clan.
Clan's name is Dub City. Yeah, Dub City.
Yeah, Adam was like, no.
I'm like, yeah, nah. Actually, I have my response because I just found it in the messages. I said, LOL, Dub City. And then I wrote, Sigh.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man. He
oh,
was
I
like,
said I don't know about joining that. It's pretty cheese ball. That's
Yeah.
how I called it, cheese ball. That's pretty. Well, now I started the Sith Lords, and actually, Call has gotten Destiny. He's played a little bit.
Yeah.
He hasn't been gaming much. He's been editing movies. He's been fixing. So he's been doing almost the opposite of what the SJWs are doing. So they're
Okay.
taking old movies and like making new versions that are way worse.
Yeah.
He's taking movies that were infected with this kind of stuff and editing out that. So he just did the Lone Ranger. He brought it down from 2 hours 20 minutes to like an hour 55 or something. And
Yeah.
he cut out all like the stupid racist jokes and like the weird sexual stuff that didn't make sense. And I just watched it over the weekend. And it was great.
It was really, dude. I would love to check that out because I was actually pretty hyped for the Lone Ranger, and that movie sucked.
Dude,
But, like,
he's playing it this weekend in his Discord. I'll link you up. You gotta check it out.
Dude, I would love to check that out because there's the moment in that movie when the music starts finally playing and he like actually does the Lone Ranger thing, like he's running across the train. I was like, this was what I came here to watch. And then immediately after that, they make some stupid joke and talk about how stupid he is, and I'm like, why?
No,
Like,
he probably got rid of that. I didn't see that
so.
scene.
Yeah.
No, dude, you need to see his cut. It is so different.
I'm actually excited.
He reorganized. He changed the order of when things happened. It's like it's a different movie. I feel like
awesome.
I gotta watch the original again so I can, because it's been so long. I watched it once and I was like, well, that movie wasn't very good, and then I haven't thought about it since. But you know what he did? He's been working on now. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Really?
Yeah. Now, and you mentioned your baby. Like, you don't start with your baby. He was telling me, he was like, it feels like Zack Snyder's, that was his baby. Like, it's what is it, 4 hours?
4 hours.
Who wants to watch a 4-hour movie? Like, that's insane.
I'll be honest.
Okay, wait. Okay. there's some freaks out there. You're a freak.
I am a freak. Yeah.
He's cut it down to like 2.5 hours or something.
See, I think that's an acceptable time. I really like long movies if they're trying to do something. Zack Snyder's movies typically are like 3 or 4 movies shoved into one. So I'm like, okay, I expect this to be a lot longer.
Okay.
I actually think his cut, the director's cut of Watchmen, is like actually a masterpiece. That's just me. But Zack Snyder's, like, I like Zack Snyder. That's actually how I got started with Geeks and Gamers. Is Jeremy used to run his mouth all the time about Man of Steel, and I would get pissed. And I'd be like, Josiah, is this guy for real? And he's like, yeah. And I'd go on there, and we would just have these throwdowns, me and Jeremy, in the comments. We'd be like yelling at each other.
I liked it. I thought Man of Steel was awesome.
I did too.
That was the first one with Henry Cavill as Superman?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, that was such a good movie.
Yeah. Jeremy didn't like it very much. He liked it in the beginning, and then he learned to not like it. But then Batman versus Superman came out. And that was the one that split everybody because I liked Batman versus Superman.
See, I like it and I don't like it. I'm like standing in the middle, like, yeah. I'm like, I could see why, it all has to do with editing. This is what I'm learning from Call.
Editing. 100%.
Yeah, he's like, from what I've seen him do with the Lone Ranger, I'm like, dude, it's the editing. There's shit in there that doesn't need to be in there. There's stuff that I really like, and there's stuff that I really don't like. The people that don't like it are focusing on that. The people that like it are focusing on that. It's like, it's they recognize that there's still good stuff and bad stuff, but it's like people don't know how to compromise anymore. There's like, it's better be the best or it's the worst, and then it's kind of frustrating. So these people have. I feel like people have become entitled to good content, and this goes back to my argument about how we are in a society that is competing to consume instead of competing to create, which is what we used to do.
100%.
And that's now I'm really hyped to know that you've got these ideas brewing, especially now that I know that you had such a a really strong base for imagination and learning the art from a different generation. And we need that. We need stuff like that, because that's stories like, real not indoctrination, like real
No.
feel, like the way life really is, where people can actually relate to regardless of your skin color, because all of us are human beings. We all feel lost when someone dies. We all feel pain when someone breaks up with us, like, and it's just the first things that come to my head.
No,
But
100%. Absolutely, man. It's a human experience. It's funny because for all the hatred that Dave Chappelle got for his special, his goal with his last special was just to say we're all human and we're all having a human experience.
Yep.
It's a lot easier like when you meet somebody and you get to know somebody and then you find out they're gay. And you go, "Oh, I didn't know that about you." But like that's not your identity to me. Your identity is you're a person.
Right. And also, it doesn't change anything for how I feel about you. Right. Because
100%.
Why the hell does it matter to me if who you want to sleep with? I mean, unless you're like trying to hit on me, then we've got issues.
Then,
but
hey, buddy, like no,
other than that,
exactly,
like, whatever.
Exactly. And that's the thing. People today identify with a characteristic of themselves. Like, I'm black. Well, I'm half black, as Rippa will let you know. I'm just kidding. He's not that mean. That's just a joke we have. But like, if I meet somebody and the first thing I say to somebody is, "Well, I'm black," or you have me on your show, and the first thing I start talking about is, "Let me tell you about the black experience." That is how now you see me, because as human beings, we make snap judgments. Everybody can say all day long, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Well, yeah, that's when you're getting to know somebody. But when you meet somebody on the street, the first inclination that you have of them is going to be the first thing they start to talk to you about. And the first thing they start to talk to you about is use my pronouns correctly, or I'm gay, or hey, I'm black, or I'm all of this stuff. Now you define that person by that. Now, if somebody says, "Oh, I'm a writer," well, you go, "Oh, that's complex. What got you into writing? What kind of writing do you do?" There's conversation. There's nothing more to say about you're gay. "Oh, you're gay? What kind of dudes do you like?" It's like, I don't want to know any of that. I have no interest.
Well,
you're
shallow.
Black. It's very shallow.
All of those things there's no depth to any of that.
Yes.
Because those are things that, okay, that's what you are, but who cares? Like, who are you though? It's like, that's not who you are. That's what you are. Like, who fucking cares? Like, what do you do in life? What made you the person you are? It's like, okay, you sleep with dudes or whatever. Like, why does that matter to me? No, like, tell me what, like you said, "Oh, you're a writer." Like, what got you in it? Who was your favorite author that inspired you to want to write? Or what story did you read that you're like, "This is amazing. I want to create my own version of something that I came up with." Like, what was the reason behind that? Like, that's the real depth that people want that. They miss 100%. It. I think that's really what it is. People miss it. They're starting to realize. I say they. All right. I have to say this again.
Yeah.
I would love to believe that there's a shift going on. Now, I don't know, because I'm basically a shut-in. I live in my house. I don't really go out much because I don't know many people around where I'm at, and I just kind of I love it though. I love my house. My life is on the internet and my wife. Those are my two things. I work online. I get to talk to really awesome people. So I don't feel like I'm alone, because I'm always talking to people, and then I've got chat showing up for me every day. Love you, chat,
dude. Yeah.
So anyway, oh wow, it's been an hour and 20. We got to get into some super chats.
Yeah.
This has been what a great conversation, man. Love chatting with you, dude. Thanks for joining. In the description below, everyone, you can find his Twitter and also his Twitch. Do you have anything else you want me to throw on there? Or?
If you want to check out every Saturday, I'm on Josiah Rises. We have a podcast we do together. It's not a podcast, it's a live show we do together called Epic Verse Live. So you can always go check us out there every Saturday. We're always just talking about entertainment and all kinds of stuff. We always have unique guests. We have Disper on there every week.
It's on Josiah Rises YouTube.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the description below.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. So but you guys can always, like Adam said, check me out on Twitch and stuff too. So that's where I'm going right now, and that's what I got going on. But I'll probably be getting into the YouTube game pretty soon here. So
what are you playing right now?
what am I
Elden
playing
Ring?
right now?
Warzone?
Warzone, Fortnite, because everybody's playing Fortnite right now.
Everyone?
And then
Everyone?
almost everyone. We'll get you.
No, you won't.
We'll
I'm
get you.
never gonna play Fortnite.
That's well.
I mean, I play a game like Destiny, and I'm like, this game is beautiful. I've got PvP, I got PvE, I've got raids, I've got dungeons,
Everything you
I got all sorts of different things to do. Why the hell would I play Fortnite? Why?
That's fair.
I will give you this. I will give you this one thing.
Okay.
There's only one reason why I would ever be interested. It's only to play with you guys. But that's
fair.
It. But
yeah.
But Jeremy, all right, I've done this twice where I've gotten a game and he stops playing it immediately.
Yes, he does all the time.
So,
yeah.
But he did buy me Splatoon, and I do have Splatoon 2. It is a lot of fun. I was playing that.
Splatoon is fun. Yeah.
But they don't play Splatoon. Now they're playing Among Us. It's like,
yes.
damn it. God,
yeah, they're playing Among Us and Fortnite. Yeah. I started playing Fortnite. I played it with Josiah before everybody else got on the bandwagon and just had a good time. It's fun with friends, but I get it. I need to get back into Destiny, but no, I've got
get back into
Elden
Destiny,
Ring.
dude. You can
I'll
join
get back
my
into
clan. You want to know the name of my clan?
The Sith Lords, isn't that what you said?
Oh, I guess I mentioned it already.
Well,
fine, I mentioned it already. But okay.
I'm gonna add it because I've been wanting to get back into Destiny. I play a lot of games behind the scenes. I played all of Cyberpunk, getting ready to start a second
Love
playthrough of
Cyberpunk.
Dude, it was
that
so
game
good.
was so good. People kept bitching. I'm like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Stop. Like glitches. Have you played games? I mean, you're a gamer. You've been gaming for a long time. So it's like I've dealt with some crazy glitches in games. It doesn't ruin the game for me. They're like these, as we were just talking about, compromise. These people want perfection or nothing else. And it's like that game was so good. Now, I did see images of the PS4 version of it, and I'm like, I remember a day when the Super Nintendo came out and the new game wasn't on Nintendo, and I was like, well, I have Nintendo, I guess I can't play it. And it's like, that's what it used to be like.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you get to play a new game on your old system? Oh, you entitled fuck. Like that's what I was doing. I was like, you're so entitled. Like, shut up. Like,
that used to never happen. It was like, you better get the new console. You ain't playing this.
You have to, right? Now, Sony's still making PS4s.
Yeah.
Like, they're making PS4s.
Yeah.
Like, stop making PS4s. Make the PS5 and move on. Like, why?
No, we've never had a situation like that. Yeah.
It's so stupid because they're still selling.
One of my favorite games, I'm actually getting ready to start a playthrough of this one again soon too, is like Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah,
the graphics are not good in that game.
We talked about this actually.
Yeah, but like the graphics are not good in that game. It's a Nintendo game. Like it was for the Nintendo, the Game Boy Advanced, like, and then the Super Nintendo. I played it on the Game Boy Advance. It was for like the Super Nintendo. That game is amazing. It's one of the best games I've ever played in my life. But it wasn't the graphics that did it. It was the story, and the gameplay is actually complex and stuff. But yeah,
and the ability in that kind of a game, the ability to choose your character from, and they had a lot of characters you could choose from in that game.
Yeah,
you know, that was cutting edge at the time. Like
it was.
You had these 3 characters and that's it. And it's like, well, how about I give you 20 characters and they're all so different?
Yeah, 100%, man.
I don't remember how many characters. Is it?
I think there's 16.
Oh, 16. Okay.
Yeah, but there's like 16 main characters in the game, which is insane. That narrative is hard to juggle for anybody, and they did it. So,
oh, by the way, Sith is spelled with capital S, lowercase L.
Okay.
Because it was taken already, so I had to like
improvise,
pull some shenanigans. But it looks good in the game. You can't tell; it just looks like the Sith Lords. And then there's the 4-letter name or word under the clan name under your name just says Sith. It looks pretty badass.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'll have to get back into Destiny for sure. Actually,
please do. That would be dope. Join the clan and I actually I got a lot of people that were in my Discord that joined the clan also.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I see Robert Wiles in chat. He's joined. Robert plays
nice.
Destiny. All right, let's get into some super chats. Bobcat starting it off says, I got the hat I won in the dice game, posted it up on locals, and again, thanks Elijah for being awesome. Dope. That's cool. Elijah was on my show and did the dice game, and
awesome.
he sent out a hat over to Bobcat.
That's
Robert Wiles
awesome.
says, I hope this makes Betty smile and Diana Francisco smile. Hey, Adam, I called the USPS. They have your gift. It's behind the counter. You got until the 31st. What do you mean I have until the 31st? That's not how the PO box works. They don't send things back. If it's not big enough to, they just hold it. I've never even heard of that. I've had a couple different PO boxes in different places, and many times it's been bigger, and there's a section that they just hold stuff. But all right, I've got it. I'm noted that it is there. It will be picked up soon. Low Watermark for $25. Thank you, Low Watermark. Says, glad to see Epic Mike here. Good stuff, guys. And that was right in the beginning.
Yeah.
So before all the good stuff came out. Let me just make it easier for me to read these. Oh, here we go. Jesse Ritchie for $10 says, yo, it's Epic Mike. What a banger of an episode. Much love and respect to the both of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Darth Call. Hey, what's up, Call? How you doing, man? He says, how long until X-Men is renamed to X-Person? What up, boys? Yeah, because you got the X-Men shirt on.
It'll be a thing. Yep.
Yeah. I got to say, the balance of your backdrop looks fantastic now, even with the Batman on the ground, because there's this dynamic of like it. I don't know. It's good because I don't know. I like it's much better than it was than the dark blue. Was it blue?
Yeah, it's always been this color. This is the same color. But
wait, that's the same.
Yeah, I didn't have a light above me.
It makes such a difference.
I was literally just if I was blasting light around me just to make it that normal color, and my exposure was at like -3, like it was bad. And then I was like, what if I just rig a light up in here? So I figured it out.
Dude, had you done that a long time, like you don't even need the sound phone. Maybe you do, I don't know, but it's like the light alone it does add a nice ambiance behind you.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
well, you had nothing behind you for so long. It felt dreary.
Yeah, it was dreary. Well, I used to have, before this where I'm at now, I had another where I was before. I had just a screen behind me, like a pull up raveled like screen, and I was like, this is not going to work for long.
Yeah, I'm glad you've moved on from that.
Yeah, me too.
Low Watermark for $10 says, hey, Mike, can you possibly feel represented when Garrick is from Deep Space Nine? What's his name?
Oh, Garrick? Yeah.
Oh, Garrick. Excuse me. Garrick was not a black man. Some out there would say you can only like something if you can see yourself in their superficial characteristics.
Yeah. That's the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, I agree. It's that shallowness that we were talking about. It's like those people are just shallow. Like you can't get into a story enough to look past skin. That means you're a racist because that's all you see. Yeah, I don't think they realize it. No, they don't understand that. Like that's what they see. They're racists. Like if you're only focused on that, it's like, bro, racists do that. That's what racists focus on. They don't like everyone else is like, why are you guys focusing on skin color? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
you guys, man.
You're not wrong, dude. It's like what they're doing.
Stupid.
They just did this with Iron Fist. They made Swordmaster, who's an Asian guy, Iron Fist, because in their heads, only Asian people should be doing martial arts. Which I'm like, did you forget that Bruce Lee actually came over here and fought really hard to like introduce to American audiences martial arts?
Right.
He wanted everybody to be involved in it because it's healthy and good for you. And they're like, no, only Asians can do that. Sorry.
So stupid. Enter the Dragon, one of my favorite movies from a kid.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Yep.
Dude, I love that movie, man.
Yep. Well, like, and then
whoa, racist. And they're like, well, actually, because the skin, he's got the check box that, he's He's black, so it's allowed.
It's all good, right? Yeah.
Stupid,
Well, it's like
man.
they rebooted Kung Fu, or Kung Fu with like an Asian chick. But I'm like,
Like
it was
the
David
comedy
Carradine.
movie.
No, not was it Kung Fu? Yeah, but David Carradine. It was a show back in the day where like he was like a white guy, but he was like a Kung Fu master.
Oh,
He
okay.
would go around helping people. But they rebooted it with an Asian chick because they're like,
Must
like,
keep
well-
martial arts Asian. It's like,
Yeah. that's all they see. Yep,
that's
ridiculous.
That's really a shame.
Yeah.
Darth Call again says selfishly hijacking an IP to force your view on it and rewriting decades of established lore is malicious, in my opinion. Hell yeah, it is. Yeah, and lazy. I think it's also lazy because people, it's so much easier to do that than to create something new.
Yes.
You can't creating new things out of nothing is difficult.
Yes.
I do it with songs, and it's very challenging to write a new song. Sometimes it'll flow out, but other times it's very difficult to like create something new. And you screenwrite, you're working on a movie, you're working, and keep me. I'm down to like be a part in it. If you're
absolutely, man.
for,
Don't worry, we will definitely keep you in the loop.
Someone with my caliber of something, I don't know. I got.
You mean Mr. Abercrombie model?
Well, that was my younger days, but
but I mean, you know, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. They were like, "That's Adam." I'm like, "That's not Adam. Stop messing around." Somebody made that as a meme, and they're like, "No, that's really Adam. Like, he straight up was a model." And I was like, "You're a model? You're a professional skater?"
I was.
Like,
was.
Still, you know, it's not like you just.
I could probably. I actually just put my board that I designed. Let me go grab it and show it off. Hold on.
Oh yes, dude, that's awesome. Oh, dude, that's dope.
So this board, I designed this board for Arbor. This is my.
Oh man.
This is my longboard that I designed because I was bored with longboards.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to be able to trick on them. So I got the tails. I could kickflip this thing. I can I could do a lot. I could downhill also.
That's awesome.
It's low. It's got the drop through. It got the twin tails. It's perfectly symmetrical. It's got fiberglass on both sides, so it's got a lot of strength. I love the Indian, man.
Dude, that's awesome. Have you been grinding with it and stuff?
I can like on a bar, but I don't really.
Gotcha.
I kind of have a nightmare story of ollieing this board.
Yeah.
It split my nutsack open.
No way.
I'm not joking.
I've had one other buddy who had that happen to him one time, and we didn't believe him at first, but dude,
he was like, "Look."
Yeah, we were like, "Don't show us. We believe you." Yeah.
I haven't actually looked if there's a scar, and technically it's a lacerated scrotum. That was the medical term. So I gotta be technical. But I was ollieing over. Let me use my phone. Like I was ollieing. This is a trash can turned sideways. I was ollieing over, right, and the back wheel caught, and it went like landed like this, and I landed like that.
Oh, dude.
But the board is long.
Yeah.
So my feet didn't hit the ground. I landed 100% on that board, but I was going fast because I wanted to ollie over. So I was like, whoop, boom. Yeah, it was. But we don't need to dwell on that because that was.
I know you got to read super chats, but real quick,
I do.
just because I have a ton of respect.
Please do.
I got a ton of respect for skateboarders. So like one of my best friends growing up in like elementary and middle school was like really big into skating. I never figured out how to make a skateboard work. I sucked at it. I was like, I can't do this, dude. But he had a bunch of buddies, and I used to go out to the skate park, and I was like, they're like I was their enforcer. Like I would grab like people and like stop people from stopping them and stuff. We were kids, but like, I was a big kid. Yeah. Yep. I was their spotter and stuff. He passed away last year, unfortunately, but like
that's a shame.
Forever, I will always remember that because he got really into skateboarding. He was like on his way to getting like sponsorships and stuff, and he used to introduce me to like he had all the like underground tapes of all the different guys when they were starting out and stuff like that. I don't even remember half of their names anymore, but like he used to make me watch all of the like background stuff of them like going to different places and skating, and you just quick videotape him like doing his tricks and then like run because you knew the cops were coming. Dude,
Yeah.
So mad
cool.
respect for skaters forever. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Man. Yep. So
I agree. I'm sorry to hear about your friend. That's
man.
that's a bummer.
It sucks, but I have a lot of good memories, so you know.
Good.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, gotta appreciate life when you've got it.
Absolutely.
George, hey, what's up, George? George for $20 says, "All hail Adam, love your show. All hail my good friend, the man with the plan, the mind that massacres the moronic, epic Mike."
Oh, thank you,
dude. I can hear, I hear his voice.
Yes. Yep.
From he's got a really the way, like his videos, I'm thinking about the way that he speaks his videos. Like I can hear the way he would say that.
Yeah, he has a great speech cadence. Dude, his episode was amazing. I was like, I was floored. I was in the middle of playing something and I stopped. I turned off everything. I was like, I gotta hear this. Like, this
really?
Is great. Oh, dude. It was such
great
a great story. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Wow. I was shocked. I knew something had happened because he had just kind of mentioned it, but didn't go into details. And I'm like, bro, I need the details. Give me the details. And it was like, damn, like that's so you were walking through the woods, I'm imagining life in the forest, and he that was not his situation.
No.
But thank you, George. I appreciate you. He's actually joining Bay Staff Mondays on Monday. I'm excited.
Dude, that's awesome. George,
he's gonna jump on.
That's awesome, man. That's dope.
He's awesome. The orange sea lion. I like that name. And for those who don't know, the profile picture is literally an orange sea lion. It's really cute. Says, what I got from Hamilton is Aaron Burr did nothing wrong. Hamilton was a dirty Federalist who wanted a central bank. F. Alexander Hamilton. Oh, wow.
Wow. Hey.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but now I'm curious. So I will pay attention when I do eventually watch it.
Yeah.
The Moral Gray says Tim Pool called Matt Walsh an establishment shill. Thoughts? I have no idea. Everything I've seen from Matt Walsh is pretty logic based, and I don't. Who's he shilling for? I don't know anything about it. I don't have thoughts on it. I apologize. Mavis for $10 says the newest season of Discovery and Picard should have been 3 partners in an actual season. Instead, they added 7 episodes of filler and called it a season. Plus, they did Q and the Borg dirty in Picard. Yeah, all I hear is that Picard is just the worst.
Yeah.
And I've refused to watch it because it's not canon in my world.
Nope.
So it's not canon. And even if I were to watch it, it wouldn't be. But why would I even do it? So
yeah, man. 100%.
Robert Wiles again says, oh, I just had a super chat jump. Let me find out where it was. There we go. He says, I don't have the money, but the USPS pissed me off. They got your gift and didn't bother to tell you. No, they never will. That's not how PO boxes work. Anything that arrives will just arrive, and it's not the same as I'm not sure. Robert, thank you so much though for sending me something. I'll just say that, don't worry. I'm sure it's going to be there. I know that you're bugging because you sent the leg. He's got one leg.
Oh right? Yeah, Robert. Yeah.
And he sent it to Quarter Black Garrett, and the mail lost it.
No way.
Yeah, it's a real bummer.
Because he showed me pictures of his new leg and he was really excited. Dude, that's messed up. How are you gonna lose somebody's leg?
Yeah, I know, right? It's a bummer. So I get it, man. I get it. But it is there. So don't worry. So it's there. And yeah, PO boxes, they don't, if stuff arrives, that's like the whole thing about PO boxes. You don't have to worry about, you know that it's there. That's why you get it. And then of course, people don't know your actual address. So it's like a twofer. Ryan says, didn't catch your answer the other day, but did you receive the wax stamps and projector light in the mail? I haven't seen it. Like, I've only been to the P.O. box once and nothing was there. So we'll see. I'll report when I do get anything. Jesse Ritchie for $20 says, I am shocked to know, I am shocked to now just find out you both play Destiny. Got my dad in it, my mom as well. Just playing with my friends. I am happy to just hear you two talk about, because I am in a hiatus and playing ESO again with my friends. What's ESO? Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That's where my head immediately thought of, but I can't play. I'm not interested in that game. It looks so. It's not Elder Scrolls to me. Now, people might say it is. You agree? Okay, yeah. It looks like absolute trash. If we're being honest, it looks like all these MMOs look all the same. Like, I love Elder Scrolls. I started playing on Morrowind. I loved Morrowind.
Yes.
I bought an
Best.
Xbox just to play Morrowind.
That's awesome.
And then I played Halo also.
Yeah,
because Halo 1 was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of GoldenEye. It's like those old, it just felt the same. And man, because 4 controllers, like, man, it was what a cool system.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Elder Scrolls Online is just an MMO with an Elder Scrolls skin. I'll just say that. The God Pill for $10. Whoa, I just had a weird screen thing happen.
I saw that.
Where did my super chats just go?
Oh,
there they are. Okay, that was odd that just happened. My screen here just died in front of me. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, it happens sometimes. Let's see, where was I? Where is my super chats? Oh, the ratio changed, so everything was really small. Now I blew it back up. Now just gotta find out where it was. The God Pill for $10 says, I don't know what the $MULN is. The new market short squeeze, 2,000% gains incoming. I was here last year telling you guys about GameStop and then AMC popcorn stock. Don't miss the easy retail movement squeezes. What is MULN? Mullen
Automotive.
It's automotive.
Yep.
All right.
Interesting.
Well, the God Pill has just in case you guys are curious. The God Pill knows. Jesse Ritchie for 10 says Final Fantasy VI is one of my absolute favorites. Loved all the characters from that game. Kefka destroyed the world mostly and was just one hell of a character.
Yeah.
I never played 6.
That's fair.
I never played it.
I will be playing 7 on my Twitch channel because you were like,
I know.
Play 7. I was like, all right.
It's not 6. I was really good friends. One of my best friends as a kid had 6, and I sat and hung out with him while he played. So I didn't play it myself, but I we hung out, and you can't. It's not a multiplayer game, but he was playing it, and I was just watching him play. So I enjoyed watching him play. It's a cool game, but I never played it myself, so I didn't really understand the story because I would come and go, and I didn't really get it. But I got Final Fantasy VII for myself, and I loved it. Yeah. Alpha Zero Omega for $10 says, if you're looking for something new to play, check out V Rising. It's like Valheim meets Diablo and had a baby, then made World of Warcraft The Godfather. Super fun boss fights, class builds, and PvP with friends. V Rising.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll check it out.
I don't play vampire games because I'm a werewolf guy.
Oh, so. Is that I've seen it. But it looks like a battle royale game though.
Oh no, that's a different one. That's Blood Hunt. There's Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. Yeah. That's like a battle royale. No, V Rising is like a survival vampire style game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
cool.
an isometric top down like Diablo. Yeah, I've heard a
Alright,
lot of good things about it, but I don't play vampire games.
I it's so weird. I'm so picky with games now.
Yeah,
Like I love games, but I don't want to play it if I'm not into it.
yeah,
You know, it's
100%.
like
Yep.
there's a random game that's like super 8-bit and super I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's called Vampire Hunters. What is it called? Vampire Hunters?
Hmm.
Let me I just want to get the name right. Vampire Survivors. It's like $3 and it's so much fun.
Oh, dude, that actually looks pretty dope, though. Yeah,
Dude, it's so fun. It's like such a old school style of a game
yeah,
where you like it's a roguelike. You start fresh every time. You only have your starting gun or starting weapon, I should say, because there's all sorts of different weapons. And you just find random stuff. And as you level up, you can choose, which path you go. Every time is different. It's a lot of fun.
that's
really
awesome.
cool.
It looks cool. I was looking it up. I'm like, that actually looks
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's so cheap.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. Absolutely worth it. It's a lot of fun. And I keep getting 100% on it because it's really not too difficult. And then they've released like 5 updates since I bought the game for free of just new content. It's like,
Wow.
I love it. For $3, it's absolutely worth it. It gets my endorsement. Mark Clark. It's a fun name to say. Say it.
Mark Clark.
Isn't that good?
That is. It just rolls right off.
Yeah, it's good.
Mark
I
Clark.
like it.
Wow.
Mark Clark says Robert Wiles is my evil clone. Oh. Robert Wiles responds and says Mark is my cousin. I see. George Barracuda for $10 says, Hail Adam and Mike, who is low-key becoming one of my favorites on Tuesday night's main event. Good to see you still grinding, Adam, and we'll be trying the coffee soon. Mike, keep doing your thing and bring in your voice, bro. Nice. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, Tuesday night's main event is awesome. I was invited once upon a time. I was on the very first episode. He stopped inviting me for some reason. I don't understand it.
He probably forgets. I'm going to be honest with you.
But hey,
because
whatever.
In the chat, he's like, I got to have Adam on. I'm like,
yeah, but he doesn't invite me. I'm like, well, fuck you, dude. It's like, damn. I exist. No, it's cool. No, people are busy, dude. I understand. Like you can't expect anyone anyone in any situation to just think of you. It's always nice when someone does.
Yeah.
But you can't expect anyone to. And I don't expect that. I just love anything to give them shit at all.
Oh yeah. 100%.
That's the crowd, you kind of work with what you're given.
100%, dude. Jeremy loves it. So
yeah, he loves it. He gets it.
Yeah.
Xenaximus. I think I said that right.
Xenaximus. Yep.
Xenaximus. It's a cool name. For $15, thank you very much. Says hail to you both, and especially the Epic Mike. Hope you're both doing good today. Thank you so much. I am doing well, and it's been what a great conversation, man. I
appreciate that.
I love chatting with people. I've really come to realize, doing segments and talking about things and doing research, it works. But I don't know. There's something about it. I like just having conversations with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
It's funny because there's a reason one of the biggest podcasts in the world is Joe Rogan's podcast, and literally all he does is talk to people.
That's true.
People love conversation, man.
Yeah.
It's good to have talking points in case somebody doesn't know or there might not be a lot to talk about. But, dude, yeah, it's great just to have conversations with people, and it always goes way longer than you expect it to. So,
well, I always like to do between an hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere between an hour and 2 hours. I feel like after an hour, I'm like, whatever, you know. If it's under an hour, like that, I want to do an hour, and then usually I've gone for 3 hours. Sometimes like if the conversation's flowing, it's flowing.
Yeah.
But I had a great time. Thank you for joining me today.
Me too, man. Thank you for having me, bro. I was pumped. I was like, oh snap. So yeah. You're good people.
It was a good time. Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. You too.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, everyone, in the description below, you can find _epic_Mike on Twitter, and also Twitch.
Yep.
Is it just the Epic Mike on
Same.
Twitch?
Yep. The _ epic.
It's the underscores as well on
Yep.
those as well. And the
Not to make it
Josiah
all the
Rises.
same.
Yeah, just
So.
to keep it together. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Josiah Rises on YouTube is when where he joins every Saturday. You mentioned.
Yep. Every Saturday.
And what do you guys do again?
So it's just a show, like we just get together. We have like a group of guys. It's kind of like Tuesday Night's Main Event, but it's not, because
Cool.
it's a little like less structured, and we just talk about stuff. We talk about a lot of different things. And we hope to branch out. Our goal, so eventually have like experts on to talk about stuff. We love to talk about conspiracy theories and
Cool
stuff. The crazier usually the better. So yeah, man.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining. I had a great time, and hope you come on again.
Absolutely, man. I'd love to. So.
All right. Well, I'll see you next time. And everyone, I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Peace.